solution. I will never let you down. Will it ever get sunny? Oh, I wonder, honey, baby, how you make me sway. You say it will. I'm calling your addictive friend. You say it will, yeah. I'm crossing the obsessive line.
Happy Saturday.
Well, hey there, y'all.
I'm David, the producer. This is Juliet Miranda, and we are hanging out here. Hold on, I gotta get
your cocktail, mister.
Absolutely.
What do you think you're doing?
Hey, happy Saturday.
Happy Saturday on the virtual happy hour.
Yeah, this is going to be a fun night tonight. We're looking forward to it, and we have so much stuff going on. It's incredible.
Well, for starters, we're in New Orleans now.
Right? We're in New Orleans. We moved here just a couple of weeks ago, and wow, it was a heck of a move.
Well, it was a long drive, about 10 hours or so, right?
It was 10-hour drive, 1,000 miles.
Nothingness.
Right.
We drove through 4 different states, and they all looked exactly the same.
There was no difference between any of those states.
No.
Until we started getting down here, then it got prettier.
But yeah, then you come to the whole, Louisiana area, and then it starts to get a little bit more interesting.
Yeah, it was very nice. And we have a whole bunch of people in the chat here we should say hi to before we bring in our guest. We have Marion, we have Kim, we have Matt Kiwi. Wow, that is awesome.
Well, thanks for joining us, y'all. It's going to be a fun night.
It is. It is. And can we tell the story about the tropical storm? Does that make sense?
Oh, right. So things may get a little hinky for the next couple of days here with us. That seems to be our curse. Every time we go live, something happens. But right now, Tropical Storm Cristobal is kind of slowly rolling into the Louisiana, New Orleans area. It's still kind of I think it's still over the Gulf of Mexico right now. It's kind of far enough away from us that we're not feeling too much of the effects of it, but we are starting to get some more wind. And tomorrow it is supposed to hit land, which is going to make it our very first tropical storm. So we're excited.
Yay!
Quite honestly, I mean, this is New Orleans. They understand how to handle rain. The worst that's going to happen is that there's going to be some flooding. Really, we are in a tremendously protected area. The quarter is elevated, so it tends to flood a little bit less than other areas of New Orleans. And just the way our building is situated, we actually don't get a whole lot of wind where we are. We're pretty protected on both sides by brick walls. So we're going to be good, I think.
I am just sending Keaton the link right here. I don't think that he got her one previously for some reason. So let me send that to him.
David, the producer, is busy producing the show right now.
Right?
It's what he does. So hope y'all are having a great Saturday night. It's been crazy around here the past couple of days. Just trying to get the house put together. And then the second we get it put together, we have to put up storm shutters. So bring in all the furniture from the balcony, and we get to, sit inside a very dark home, hoping that we don't lose power. So, I don't know. We'll see what happens.
It's anyone's game. Okay, hold on. I'm just trying to respond here.
And for my bourbon curious friends, I'll let y'all know that tonight I am drinking classic Elijah Craig. Found it at a great value at this delightful little liquor store here in the French Quarter. They have all sorts of great bourbon choices. I'm so glad I found them. And Elijah Craig is just such a good standby. You get that classic bourbon flavor with a little bit of heat on it, which I like because it reminds you that you are, in fact, drinking bourbon. I don't like it to be too sweet. I don't like it to be overly potent, although that's not a bad thing either. So I think
what's wrong with overly potent?
There are limits to everything. But this is a good one. It's tasty, very easy to drink. I've got mine neat. So if my bourbon friends are hanging out in the chat right now, I hope you guys have something great in your glass.
Yep, we have, by the way, Catherine Gray stopped by.
I see my Bessie Ginger is hanging out with us as well tonight. It's great to see you here. I know It's a little bit different from our regular, from my Monday night Bourbon Soak Live show. Tonight it is all David's show.
Yeah, this is just a fun thing that we've actually started when COVID-19 started. What's this, week 9 now?
I believe it's week 9, yeah.
Yeah, so this is what we do with our COVID. So Keaton should have the link now, so we're hoping to have him up in just a couple of seconds. But we got Johnny Sig in the house, which, by the way, I had a great talk with him last night, and he's an awesome guy. If you guys have a chance, go out and check out Johnny Sig's channel. He's here on YouTube. You can find him on Twitter as well. Just look up Johnny Sig, and really super nice guy.
Yeah, you guys were on the phone for quite a while, weren't you?
He's my new brother from another mother.
That's fantastic. I love it. I was busy watching horror movies.
Right.
Well, Friday nights are my Joe Bob Brig nights. So I need to kick back with all my mutant family friends and watch all sorts of gore movies. It's a great communal experience, I gotta say. I love doing it.
If you love horror movies, go check out Joe Bob Briggs. The guy's amazing at what he does.
Although Shudder seems to have as many problems streaming as we do.
Right.
There are already things rolling around out there. The wind's totally kicking up.
I heard something just crash outside the door. I'm thinking,
it's too early,
man.
right? I thought this wasn't going to start getting really windy until tomorrow.
I know.
Oh, there's always something keeping it interesting around here.
Right? Well, cheers to you. Happy Saturday.
Indeed.
So what do we got going on in the chat? I want to see. Oh, Gemma's Journey Grace is here.
Oh. Gemma, how are you? It's been a while. Hope everything's going great for you.
Kim says, never been there, on my list though. Oh yeah, you definitely got to come out and check it out.
Oh, New Orleans is the greatest city in all of the world, in my personal opinion, of course.
Absolutely.
But it's just delightful.
Yes. And we are super excited about our guest. And guess what?
Yes.
Keaton is here.
Well, that is awesome. Let's welcome him in.
Let's get him on.
Hey,
how
Hey,
how you guys doing?
Doing good. How about you?
I'm doing great. I'm just chilling today.
That's awesome. Now, you're in Nashville still, right?
I am in Nashville, indeed. Yes.
Yeah. So you came to Nashville to do your last EP. What kept you there?
I know, it's amazing. It seems like I just came here and then never left, but it wasn't exactly quite like that. Here's how it actually shook down. I came here in, I think, 2018 to make the 1, 2, 3 Go EP,
right,
with Marshall Altman. It was an incredible experience. I was in Nashville for about a month to make that record, and then I was back in LA and touring and doing my thing. And then my friend Brett Young was in need of a lead guitarist, so I submitted myself into the hat for the draw, and it was a perfect match made in heaven. The whole band is old. We're all old friends, and we've known each other for a long time. Brett is humongous in the country music world. Now he just had his 6th consecutive #1 country song, so that we're so excited about all that stuff, and that's why I moved here, and I've been here for about a year and a couple months.
That is amazing because, going from LA to Nashville, that's got to be a huge change in your life. I mean, besides for just the distance and family and everything else, I mean, just the culture.
Different vibe.
It's a different vibe.
It's true. It is a totally different vibe. However, one of the things that's so striking about modern Nashville, or, Nashville the last 5-10 years, so many transplants from LA. Like, most of my LA music community has been living here for many years now. Like they just were way ahead of me, basically. So it is really comfortable. It's also a place where I've been visiting and coming to perform and do radio appearances and this and that and the other thing since probably about 2004. So that's, and I've watched the whole city transform and how everybody just rushed in here. And I even wrote a song about it called Crane City for the EP. And, but it's a beautiful place. Of course it's different, but for me, I don't know. I don't seem to register culture shock that much because I don't know that I feel particularly connected to any one culture. You know what I mean? I don't get nothing
So
surprises me. Let's say that.
most musicians are gypsy in nature, right? I mean,
Precisely.
you're on
Exactly.
a bus, you're on a plane. It's just the
Yes.
way you live.
Well, and you have such
Exactly.
a great education too, just in your background in music. Tell me a little bit about the degree that you have. Is it
You got it.
ethnomusicology?
Ethnomusicology. It sounds very, very fancy, schmancy. It just is a fancy way of saying world music. So I started my world music studies in college with Southeast Asian performing arts and culture, particularly Indonesian gamelan music. And
Wow.
that's what started me on that whole path. I learned a lot about Indian music and Chinese music and traditional Japanese music and all over Asia, and then Africa, and just really got the bug for it and just started listening to, studying, learning all of the music that I could find in the whole world. And because the thing that really grabbed me was that music is everywhere. It's a completely human thing throughout all cultures, no matter how remote or regardless of the political climate or anything like that. Music is something that just exists for all human beings in all human cultures in the entire world. It's amazing. It comes
And that
up
makes
naturally
sense.
for everybody. It makes so much sense. It
Yeah.
makes sense, but then when you really break it down, it doesn't. Like, it would make sense. It makes sense with food because we have to eat in order to survive. With music, we just feel like we need it in order to survive. Maybe we do emotionally, but
Oh.
it's something that we feel like is a physiological need.
Well, then,
Even
of
if
course,
it
going from that to Coldplay made perfect sense, right?
isn't.
It's you
Exactly.
have such a wild, diverse background. I mean, and
Oh yeah.
you
Well,
know,
I've
having
played.
the opportunity to see what you've done is like it's like a playlist that I have never heard or seen in my life. Santana, Coldplay, Snoop Dogg. It's like that stuff. Just I see how the world music can actually make that happen for you. But
Sure.
I wonder how, you know, as an artist, how does that satisfy you with all the different genres going on?
Well, it's been, I mean, having a background in world music has been a huge asset to me because I can make use of that library of experience and material, you know. But in general, my creative musical thing is just fluid. I don't do a lot of like, I'm going to put a little bit of this style from this region in here and there. You know, it's just, I just want to listen and I want to contribute in the most productive way, even if that means to step out. And I learned that really clearly early on playing hip hop music and funk in LA. When I played with Snoop Dogg back in the day, that was a long time ago for me now. And I remember, I mean, on the Tonight Show, you can see it's on, you know, you can find it on YouTube of me playing with Snoop on the Tonight Show, Jay Leno Tonight Show. And my hair's like down to my butt. I'm wearing these velvet bell bottoms and stuff. And, and I mean, it sounds like it was the 70s. It wasn't, it was still the 2000s. But the part that I was playing is a loop. I mean, it's trickier than it seems, but it was all about laying right into that and just being in that pocket, which is all about listening and restraining yourself a little bit, being, you know, and I definitely learned that through my ethnomusicological studies with gamelan music. The Indonesian gamelan is performed as an ensemble of instruments. A gamelan is an ensemble of a bunch of different instruments, and they're all played together. You rarely, if ever, hear any of them played solo. So it's essential that you be communicating and making music with other people in order to make it at all. So
Now, you've also played with Chris Cornell. I'd love to know
yes.
what it was like working with him. I mean, he was just such a force to be reckoned with. I mean, what was that like?
Working with Chris was one of the most amazing, beautiful experiences of my life. We bonded really deeply. We had the same birthday. He was like 10 years older than me, but we were born on the same day, and just had a great number of similarities. And the way that he was with me and about his music and with all of the musicians that we played with and all of the crew, every single person, just I love him. I will love him eternally. And beyond grateful and deeply honored to be able to have played with him, because it's something that is, I mean, he's a legend. I was absolutely a legend. No matter where his soul resides, he's a legend. So he's like, and that experience was very real during the time that I was playing with him. You know what I mean? It didn't. I don't know. He's just such a genius, and it was extraordinary. It's funny. It's like my playlist basically. I'm realizing that as you said that, it kind of is like my playlist, which is super eclectic. You know, it's a lot of. And I love. Chris was super eclectic too, and he didn't restrain himself to any kind of formula or convention when he was writing and creating. He just created what was really coming most authentically from him, which I find to be just the way to do it.
Now, obviously, with all the great people that you've played with, you know, how did you bring, or did you even bring, some of those experiences, or even, you know, the genres themselves into what you do now as a solo artist? Did you see that stuff sneaking in, or did you just say, okay, I got to do what I have to do because I got it in me and I want to get this stuff out to people?
Well, that is the core of it for sure. I mean, you definitely hit it on the head. For me, I want my creative process to be as unimpeded as possible, especially when we're talking about my most soul-bearing music that's most personal to me. I have tons of different creative musical outlets because that's my passion just throughout everything. And I'm able to make use of those things really specifically in certain circumstances. Like I just finished scoring a feature film with my production and writing partner, Noah Nealman, who's also Brett Young's musical director and a big part of how this whole thing came together with me playing with Brett and stuff. And so I was talking to amazing filmmaker Dennis Dugan, who did Happy Gilmore and Grown Ups and Don't Mess with the Zohan and a lot of Adam Sandler and like Saving Silverman, amazing movie. And he wrote and directed this beautiful, brilliant romantic comedy starring Diane Keaton, Jeremy Irons. And I've been involved with him creating the whole thing since about 5 years ago now. Within the last year, everything has happened. So we scored the whole film, all the soundtrack as well. Elle King is in it. Brilliant artist. I'm in the movie as well.
You're acting in it as well?
I'm acting in it a little bit. So it's great. So that allows me to have an outlet within that movie. We did like background music, like bossa nova, like Girl from Ipanema style, you know what I mean? To full orchestral production, like action film James Bond, to songs, acoustic singer-songwriter songs, to like really everything in between. We even did a Russian trap beat, like I think like that was like, we did everything. You know,
thank God for your college background.
Right? I've been thanking my past self so much. This young man who made all these very, very responsible decisions. Who is that? But whoever he was, he learned a lot of stuff, and I get to reap the benefits of it and go, oh yeah, no, I know how to play that authentically. You know what I mean? I can actually do that.
What about the process of this? I talked to a musician who was in a hair band a long time ago, and now he scores for the ballet. Huge transitional process for him. Do you feel like this is organic for you, or was there a little bit of a learning curve?
There's always a learning curve, but it's fully organic process. It's been a long time coming also. Like my music's been placed in tons of film and television. I've done a lot of writing for it and a little bit of score and composition, but it's something that I've been wanting to do forever. I grew up in a film and television industry family, so I've been around it always, and it's very natural. It feels very natural, and it's super fun and very fulfilling. And you know, it's interesting, like the hair metal or the hair band to ballet is not that big of a leap, as not as big of a leap as you might think it is, because, you know, especially in like heavy metal, there's a lot of Baroque, like direct, oh yeah, straight up, like, you know, and it's really fascinating that way. So you find those connecting points. That's the thing about music. That's like, you know, it's this amazing phenomenon. It really is a universal language. It unites people. It also turns people off. I remember when I first started learning about world music, my professor was like, you may very well hear some stuff that will seem offensive to your ears. Like, this is not music. You know what I mean? Like that kind of feeling, you know? Fortunately, I didn't really have that experience. You know, there's some stuff that I like more than others, sure. But like, I saw some people have a visceral reaction to music, being like, I reject this as a premise for something that is music, you know? And so it's amazing.
Crazy.
It's powerful. It's powerful. Let's put it
right. Now, you obviously mentioned that you've done both TV and movies, and you've done things like Son of Anarchy, Suits, The Good Wife, Deadliest Catch, which is crazy. You know, I'm trying to even think, okay, how do I write a song for Deadliest Catch?
Well, in that case, I didn't write the song for the show. It was a song that's a part of my catalog that got chosen for that thing. There's a number of different avenues where my music can be used, you know, to as score for picture. And, you know, a lot of it's my relationship with music supervisors who I'm just so fortunate to know and love and have been supported by for many years, you know. And so when they have a project, they go, oh, you know, they have a library of stuff, and I'm one of the ones on there, and I'm happy to be, you know.
So do you see a big difference? And I'm not talking about scoring of movies, because that's obviously a big difference amongst TV shows, because TV, they'll select your music generally for it. But when you're doing TV or film for being selected for a song, is there a difference there?
Whether it's television or film?
Yeah.
Less and less, honestly. I mean, one thing about television is it tends to rerun. It airs multiple times. So there's certain residual things that can be done. If you have a song that's the theme song for a television show, for example,
now you're talking.
That can be much more lucrative than than if you have a song that's placed in the show. So that's an example. You know, you can. I have friends who have also had songs that have been the promotion song for a film, but the song didn't even appear in the film. But the song generated tons of it was super lucrative placement because it got played over and over and over again promoting the movie. It didn't need even to be in the movie. You know what I mean?
One of my buddies.
I had that with NCIS.
NCIS.
I had that with for NCIS. Mama Song, one of my songs, Mama Song, was the promo song for that like coming season of NCIS, and then it ended up appearing on a compilation album. It went on the show afterwards, but it wasn't a theme or anything. It was just a promo theme, but it aired like time and time again because it's during the Grammys or something like that.
That's so cool. One of my buddies wrote the Fishy Fishy thing for McDonald's, and that took off for them, and he made a buttload of money.
Yeah. He did Zoom too.
What's that?
The Zoom.
He did the Zoom
for
Mercedes,
I think.
No.
Wow, he did the Zoom.
That's the one. Yeah.
I could probably. You may have to pay for me just doing that just now.
I might get a copyright strike for it.
Right, exactly. Zoom.
You can just total recall that little snippet of music, and like you were saying earlier, just the influence that music has on our lives and our everyday. I could argue that we need it, that this fuels us.
Absolutely. The only distinction I make there is just simply that we will not for sure wither and die without it, as we would without food or water. You know what I mean? But I totally agree with you. I certainly wouldn't want to live without music. I would be making music no matter what state of being I was in, as long as I had maintained enough consciousness. Like I could, even if I was just could only be inside my own thoughts, I would be creating music for myself inside of my own thoughts.
Well, it's, and we know a lot of musicians. I used to be a musician. I stopped playing probably 8 years ago. But there's that part of you inside that just drives you or fuels you to just, it's a mood setting thing.
Yes.
When you're in this kind of mood, you want to listen to this. When you're in this kind of mood, you want to listen to that. Now, what is your mood music? I mean, when you're feeling like completely like amazing, you got to have a go-to song.
So I don't know that I have a go-to. I've got some like warm-up songs and songs that I just really love, like pieces of music that I always share, like that I definitely like. My closest friends have heard these songs. Usually it's like something Donny Hathaway or my dear friend David Ryan Harris, who is a brilliant artist. If you're not already familiar, please look him up. He's an incredible solo artist, and he has been John Mayer's guitarist, touring with him for the last 10, 15 years, something like that.
Wow.
And
very cool.
So, and he's incredible. There's a song, one in particular song called For You, that I really love. It's just one of the most amazing compositions. It's just the recording, the record studio recording is just an acoustic guitar and his voice, and that's it. And it does not need anything else. It's incredible. So that's one that I go to. It's deep. It's not like if I'm ready to go for a run or whatever. But I don't know that I really do that much. I do much more creating music than I do consuming music. I listen to a lot of music that my friends create and people who are close to me, or music that it's like I'm researching, that I'm learning from, or that I'm looking into, or listening back to things that I've been listening to my whole life and seeing what I can observe now with a new perspective, those kinds of things.
Very cool. And I have
Having said that, the Beatles.
Yeah.
Always
the
Beatles.
Right, you can never go wrong with the Beatles.
I have to acknowledge this because your stepdad and also someone who's been here on our show, Eric Roberts, just mentioned something here in the chat. You want to read it?
That's a little far away for me to read. I'm not wearing my glasses.
Oh, no, are they chatting? I can't.
They are.
Absolutely.
Okay,
so,
nice.
best way of stating the meaning and value of music that I've ever heard, having been on Bear Grylls Island, certainly brought home.
Bear Grylls.
Bear Grylls, sorry. Bear Grylls Island certainly brought home to me the value of drinking water, LOL. But music is close third.
Do you guys know about that? Did you tell him? Did he tell you about that?
I have no idea about that story.
He did some crazy Survivor show with Bear Grylls. You know, Bear Grylls is the guy who has the fish, and the guy's amazing. I used to watch that show all the time. I cannot believe that Eric went there and survived. And he survived. It's my understanding that he kind of came near perhaps not surviving. They were literally starving them to death. And yes, the value of eating some rice. It's also my understanding that he never lost his love of coconut. Even though it was the only thing that he ate for some months or something like that. He still loves it.
That's awesome.
I don't know. I think I hope I'm right. I'll get texts from my mom and Eric in a minute. As soon as they know that they're not texting while I'm on the show with you guys.
Speaking of family, of course, Eric Roberts being your stepdad and Eliza Roberts being your mother, that you guys actually, the three of you, did a movie called Days of Power that all of you acted together. And I thought to myself, how was that? That had to be weird. Was it weird? Was it cool? Was it?
It was. The thing was, we didn't have any scenes together in that picture. But we've done. Eric and I have done some acting together in films, and then we've all appeared on camera together.
You've done TV,
yeah. We've done a lot of TV stuff together, but that's all been real. That's all been real,
Right.
So, I was going to say reality TV, but reality TV doesn't really imply that it's real. The stuff that we did was real. It also happened to be reality TV.
It exists. It's real.
reality brand television.
Right. Do you have a preference? I mean, looking at, being a musician, looking at acting, is there one that, you want to maybe engage in more or less?
For sure. Yes, I have. I mean, not to go too far down that rabbit hole, but like music is 100% where my passion lies, and it's a lot of it is because of kind of what I touched on earlier, which is it's something that I can do and fulfill myself creatively, completely independent of everything. I mean, I don't even need an instrument. I don't even need a voice. I just need to be able to hear the thoughts in my head to be able to create music. And as a person with the type of creative passion that I have, it's essential that there not be any prerequisites or roadblocks or necessities in order for me to be able to create. And as an actor, I find that it's something which is entirely dependent on material. It's dependent on, and so and if you write and you act and you're directing and blah 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 and all this kind of stuff, sure, then it kind of touches on it. But good luck doing anything, really creating anything in that realm without a team of people. That's one of the things that's so brilliant about it, is that it's an incredible example of the way a huge team of people who all do their own individual jobs so well come together to create something super cohesive. It's a little less personal in that way. And to me, music is much more personal, and my existence is much more personal to me. I'm more concerned about what's inside than what's outside.
Now, what a lot of people don't know that are watching this right now is that we were lucky enough to be invited for a private Zoom concert you did just a couple days ago. And that's how we were introduced to you, as a matter of fact, is that, by being invited to that to see you play. And we were just blown away by the range of the songs. I mean, we heard everything from New Orleans and old jazz to blues to Americana to pop rock to you just name it, across the board. You don't seem like you want to fall into a specific genre. Is that kind of on purpose?
It's definitely not on purpose, but I certainly don't want to fall into, I don't feel any pressure to fall into one or another, maybe to a fault during my effort to like commercial success, because it's really difficult to be that eclectic and to be commercially successful. Like, imagine, I'm trying to buy a product and you're not even quite sure what it does or how it works or what you're supposed to do with it. You know what I mean? That's a that's a big stumbling block in that realm. But basically every other arena in my life and in my musical and creative life, it's been like the biggest asset I have. Like I was saying to you before about scoring for picture, I feel confident I could score any film, any TV show about anything, any genre, any era. I mean, full period, I could do fully authentic, whatever period it is, and so on. So that's a huge asset to me. That's not something that I have any desire to compromise, but it isn't something that I did on purpose to be obstinate or anything like that. I wasn't like, I'm not going to conform and be blah, blah, blah. It just so happens that I create from my independent passion. Believe me, I've tried to create a lot of commercial music and I've always maintained integrity throughout it. But my goal was to create music that was, not going to sound like a sampler album,
At a certain point, it becomes forced, right? If you just try to say, I'm going to sit down and write this style of music for the next 8 songs, 12 songs for an album. That's got to be forced.
Let me ask you
this. It's a fun exercise, it's a fun exercise, but it's
looking at, the current music scene. Do you feel maybe a little bit limited by it? Because music now isn't necessarily about an album or about a collection of work. It's about that one sort of boom hit, which kind of brings people to you. So how do you overcome that?
Well, I like that because it's more, I kind of don't overcome it, to answer the question first. But I also don't mind that, because truly, I feel like people, even though there are a lot of people listen to full albums, and there are a lot of brilliantly composed full albums, that are meant to be consumed all at once, there's a real collection. But for as long, I mean, how long have we been making mixtapes and recording stuff
Very
off the
true,
radio
yeah.
and all that kind of stuff? That's forever. What people have really always wanted is to not have to listen to a whole album if they don't want to. And I think what we've seen in popular culture is that a lot of people don't want to. A lot of people actually prefer to listen in a more of a playlist type of format. That's how I like to listen to stuff too. I don't want to necessarily have to listen to 12 songs from one band or one artist in a row in order to feel that I'm enjoying them. I can have a favorite song or two that, I mean, what is a DJ except somebody who decides one song from one artist which fits complementarily with someone else, you know, whether it's because it's similar or because it's juxtaposition or whatever it might be, you know, like it's so I think that's natural. That doesn't bother me, and it doesn't really hurt me because I'm not beholden to make full albums anymore. You know what I mean? As artists, we can make singles, and I can make one that's one style, and it can get a life because it's in a commercial or placed in a movie or something like that, and it can be something that's totally different. I mean, it's kind of one of the things that's happened for me. My most popular song on Spotify is called When I Go, and it was placed very prominently on the show Suits. It just crossed the 5 million play mark on there, which is really cool. And it's full steam ahead. For the last 5 years, it's just been chugging along. You know, it's different in distinct ways from a lot of my other catalog. It's been a great success. It hasn't led to my name becoming, you know, known or anything like that, but it doesn't need to, you know. And I can do that I can do that indefinitely, or if I want to. I think at all.
That's awesome. Now, you know, I look at songwriting, and I think, okay, so what's next for you, Keaton? So, you know, if you had, or what you're working on now, what you are starting to write at this point as kind of your next thing, because every artist that I've talked to ever since COVID, it's like, all I'm doing is writing and connecting with fans. Those are the two core things.
Great that everyone's doing that. I'm so glad, you know.
It's cool they're finally connecting with fans, at least in a different way. I mean, we had Bruce Kulick on from Kiss on a couple weeks ago, and he's like, you know, I never really spent the time I should have with the people who enjoyed the music that I did, that now is the time that I'm taking to do that, to really have, you know, well, one, appreciate the love that they've given me over all the years, but then two, creatively do some cool things that I haven't done before. Like he's doing videos on YouTube now with his wife where they're doing duets and really cool stuff that, you know, what are you doing during this time? And secondly, what do you want to do as kind of your big thing?
Yeah, well, I've been doing a lot of that same kind of thing, you know, mostly creating, doing a lot of composing, working with Noah on stuff, and then just connecting. This happens to be kind of the pattern that I have lived in for a long time, where I'm very much like out there on the road constantly with people and connecting with them tremendously. The type of touring I've done is very different from Kiss, for example. Maybe a perfect example of the other end of the spectrum in terms of the fan interaction and stuff like that.
Right.
First of all, they're in makeup disguised as a character. My thing is, it's just me. And there's no barrier at all. You know what I mean? And so and I have direct communication and contact and interaction with like all of my fans pretty much, you know, so, and have for most of my career. So it's a whole different thing. So when I'm on and I'm out and I'm doing that. And then when I get back and I'm off, I'm usually very introverted, sometimes not like no creative output. It's like a lot of creative feeding myself creatively, you know. Gosh, I don't know what else, but what do I want my big thing to be? I would
Yeah.
love to do, I really want to keep doing the movies and the TV thing. I mean, man, how cool would it be to be able to be involved? You know, I always look at like Seth Rogen and those guys, and you know, like it just reminds me of a lot of my like times in my life, me and my group of friends who are real creative and blah blah. But it takes a lot to really get your act together and make real movies. You know, that's tough.
Well, just
It takes more to make these movies than doesn't make music.
Yeah, and just hear you talking about scoring that last movie. I mean, the excitement in your voice and how you got to do all the different elements of it and how the different kinds of music that you put together for it and how diverse it was. You seem like you were like ready to do movie number 2 like that.
Oh, absolutely. And especially now. I mean, this is kind of, you know, I was right in the middle of a humongous tour with Brett Young when we got sent home from Europe. We were in the middle of it's a humongous country music concert festival in Europe, and we were, you know, headlining some and direct support for the headliners for like the rest of them. And, you know, we were going to play the O2 with like 80,000 people or something, you know, I mean, it's like, you know, so much stuff like that. And then it's like, nope, you know, I'm playing and go home. So that's what, you know, my life for the last year and a half before all this was, you know, on a tour bus playing huge venues, tens of thousands of people. And it was really fun and really wonderful and fulfilling, and allowed me enough time also to score this movie and all that. I mean, it's just like it all ends up working out. But yeah, I'd love to be part of creating an idea for a film or a television series that I'm able to participate in the actual creative part of the TV show as well as the music. That would be really interesting to me.
So is there plans? I mean, since things are they're opening things back up slowly in different parts of both the country and the world. Is there plans for Brett to go back out? And are those plans gonna, you know, are you gonna be included in them? Do you want to be included?
I'm definitely going to be included in them, and I definitely want to be included in them for sure. Yeah. It's a wonderful, the way that the country music world tours is really cool. It's like it's usually weekends, and then you're back Sunday and leave again Wednesday or Thursday, and you're out and back. So it leaves a lot of time to do other stuff and to have downtime. The tour life that we have is relatively quite comfortable, especially relative to a lot of my own personal solo touring history, which is me driving myself in my car. It's a lot more comfortable than that. And Brett's got a lot more to do. You know, I mean, the guy's he's got so much material. It's amazing. He hasn't released a song that hasn't gone #1. So
I know, it's incredible.
So
it's huge. I
think
know.
he should keep going. I don't think he should stop, and I don't want to stop. I am so like, I love him. We're old friends. We've known each other forever. This stuff melts my heart. This whole tour was called the Chapters Tour, and it was the chapters of his life, including the chapter of his life where we met.
Wow.
And I come out on stage and sing one of my songs that's one of his favorites. It's always a moment. Oh yeah. And it's like, we're like, everyone in the band, it's family. Everyone in the crew, it's a family. It's a beautiful family. We all can't wait to get back out. We don't know when it's going to happen, but we know that when it can happen, we're all very excited for it.
Wow. Well, there's a whole bunch of people in the chat, and I shouldn't, ignore them. That Miriam is just saying that David, tell Keaton loving this. So Eric has been chiming in, of course, and Kim, and we got a whole bunch of people here. Lindsay's joined us, and just a bunch of amazing people. So Mad Kiwi.
I saw Malton in Montreal.
Swami is here. A lot of great people just sending their love.
Hello, everybody.
Yeah. So And Keaton, you and I didn't talk about this before, and if you don't want to do it, I totally get it and
You're
understand.
gonna put him on the spot.
I'm totally going to put him on the spot because this is what
I'm not even afraid at all. I'm
Awesome.
very happy to talk about anything.
Well, I was actually going to see if you wanted to play a song from 1, 2, 3, Go.
Absolutely, I'd love to. I'm going to switch from the
awesome.
earbuds.
No,
because it'll
please.
be better without earbuds. Okay. So give me
Please.
1 second. Let me just grab my guitar.
We'll occupied while you do that. That's great. I am shocked that you asked him to do that.
Well, I usually wouldn't
Are
put
you?
somebody on the spot like that, but since he did such a great job on the Zoom the other night,
It's true. I know.
I'm like,
I know.
I have to at least hear
Wow.
1 or 2 of his
Got
songs
it.
of his
Love it.
choosing,
Yes.
of Keaton's choosing. So
Of my, well, then we got to do 1, 2, 3, go. I do.
yeah,
good choice. Good
absolutely.
That's one of my faves. All right. I'm going to switch the audio. Nope, that muted my audio. Hold on a second.
All right.
Oh, can hear you
There
great.
we go.
When I walk these streets, I feel a certain passion. When you're there with me, we start a chain reaction and fall again. Fall again. I'm off my feet, I'm swept away, I'm stranded. Got my heart tethered to disbelief, abandoned the hard way. I learned that hard way. You built a castle out of sticks and bones. Here we go, gotta get back home and back to life. Won't you go after the months of sacrifice? Where did they go? The time to stop and feel alive. What do we know? I know a feeling when it's right. Why did we go? Out here alone, remember independence. We're gonna bring it all back home and feel that confidence. Got that confidence. Thinking in circles keeps my mind well rounded. Searching for subjects just to stay confounded and trying things. I'm always trying things. You built a castle out of sticks and bones. Here we go, when I get back home, back to life. Want to go after the months of sacrifice. Where did they go? Take time to stop and feel alive. What do you know? I know a feeling when it's right. What did you go? What did you go? What did we go? Go. What did we go? Then we finally get to start again. Then we finally get to start. Here we go. When I get back home, it's back to life. Want to be go after the months of sacrifice. Ready to go, take time to stop and feel alive. What do we know? I know a feeling when it's right. What do we go? When I get back home, it's back to life. Want to go after the months of sacrifice. Ready to go, take time to stop and feel alive. What do we know? I know a feeling when it's right. What do we go? What do we go? What do we go? Oh. What do we go? What do we go?
Freaking awesome. Love it.
I hope that sounded okay.
It sounded awesome.
Excellent.
Yeah, it sounded great, Keaton. And well, thank you for obliging us and doing that. I know I put you on the spot, but when we saw that private concert, we were having so much fun. Matter of fact, we were kind of laughing a little bit because
Nice.
we were seeing in the background that your mom and Eric
Knew
were
every
not
word.
knew every
Every word.
single
Yeah.
word to every one of your songs.
They were what?
they knew every word to every single song that you played that
Oh
night.
yeah.
You know, every dang old word to all those songs.
It was awesome. It was great.
Yes.
And thank you for that, Dad.
Well, they've seen enough shows. They've been to so many shows. It's amazing. It's
So-
my pleasure. It's my absolute pleasure. And you know, being 1, 2, 3 Go is all about being on the spot. It's all about not having any time to prepare, and essentially that's what life
What I
feels
did
like
to
to
you.
me. Pretty much, everything's 1, 2, 3 Go.
So, I hate to say that I actually put him up to 1, 2, 3 go. It's like, okay,
Yeah.
play it
Yeah, and go.
and go.
Of course,
No,
I'm the one to do that with. Are you kidding? If I can't I should not say the rhyme if I can't do the crime or something.
Good point.
Well, Keaton, please tell everyone. Well, one, where can they buy your music? First of all, before we get
Yes,
to the social media stuff.
You got it. My music can be purchased through iTunes or Amazon. It can also be listened to for the subscription fees via Spotify and iTunes Music and anywhere else where music is bought or streamed. And I spend most of the time, if I'm doing social media stuff, I will be on Instagram. I'm going to be doing a live performance, Instagram Live and Facebook Live, if I can make it work, sponsored by Mercury Insurance. It's going to be awesome, June 11th at 5 p.m.
Cool.
5 p.m. Pacific time, I believe.
Can you send me that link? I'll make sure to put it in the description.
Absolutely,
here
for sure,
video.
for sure. I don't know why. Yeah, it is, of course. It's 5 p.m. Pacific time. Yes, on June 11th. It's going to be awesome.
Nice.
Live stream, and Mercury Insurance, super cool. They like put together this little video to promote it and stuff. It's awesome.
That's awesome. And Keaton, this has been such a blast. And thank you so much for coming on. I know this was a little bit last minute. I was talking to Lindsay and I'm like, after we saw your live show, I'm like, we want to get him on the show. Is he available Saturday?
I love your passion for music.
Yeah.
I love just how much heart you put into everything. I've enjoyed talking to you so much. This has been so much fun.
Thank you so much. Me too, you guys. You know, I sometimes I don't realize how much I have to say over all this time until somebody asks me and says, go ahead, open up for a minute. So thank you all so much. You guys are awesome.
No, thank you, Keaton. And I got to give a little nod to Johnny Sig for, my discussion with him last night. And we talked about you and all the great stuff that you've done. So,
nice,
cheers to Johnny as well.
Cheers to Johnny. Cheers to all you guys. Thank you so much for showing up and hanging out.
Yes. And have a great weekend, everyone. Thanks, everyone in the chat. Thanks to, of course, Eric Roberts is in there. We have Lindsay. Lindsay's in there. She just popped in. And then there's Kim, Marion, and all
my bourbon friends.
We're not going to mention everyone's name because I'll embarrass myself and not catch everyone. So have a great weekend.
Awesome.
And cheers to you, Keaton, and to the best of your career. We know that you're on to huge things.
Thank you so much. And I will talk to you guys soon.
Excellent.
Sounds good.
Take care.
Cheers, everyone.
Cheers.
Take care.